Today, we're going to be talking about Nepal. Nepal will be a huge influence in cricket for many years to come. When did cricket start in Nepal? Well, it started in the 1920s with the ruling Rana family. What the story goes is I think they went to England and brought the game back from England, and the only problem is that they kept it within the Rana ruling class. So it was just this tippy-top upper class sport that was played by a fortunate few people who happened to have connections with the king and queen. Now, it was through the aristocracy that the official Nepal Cricket Association was formed in 1946. But it stayed within the aristocracy until there was like an uprising or a political upheaval. I don't know the history that well, but in 1951 there was a big political change and the Rana ruling family was no longer in complete power. And because of that, cricket was able to spread amongst more regular or non-royal people. The only issue is that it stayed in the capital of Kathmandu. Now, if you look at Nepal, if you look at a map of Nepal, you'll notice that it's very mountainous. I mean, much more than other countries. And that causes a problem for communications because when you lack, radio, telecommunications, and it takes a really long time to travel from city to city, that hinders the movement of communication and likewise hinders the movement of cricket. So cricket expanded just in the city of Kathmandu until the 1980s. Now, with the 1980s came advancements like better telecommunication structures, television, things like that. And in the 1980s is when cricket was able to spread out into other parts of Nepal. And it was in the 1990s that cricket really blew up in this country. So you saw the introduction of television in India, you saw better communications, and cricket was starting to be introduced into educational programs. Regional and district tournaments started to be developed in the 90s, as well as Nepal became an official associate member of the ICC in 1996. Now, it was in that same year that Nepal competed in its first international tournament. It was the ACC Trophy for the first time. Now, this, I think, tournament is defunct or it's changed. But anyway, it was the smaller associate member nations competing against each other. In this tournament, Nepal would end with 2 wins and 3 losses, which is pretty impressive for a brand new cricketing nation. And they beat Brunei and Japan, but had 3 losses overall, so they didn't advance to the final stage. Nepal would compete in its first T20 World Cup in 2014, where it beat the likes of Hong Kong and official ICC member Afghanistan. And in 2018, Nepal gained temporary ODI status as they were competing for the ODI World Cup. So huge advancements in this country overall. So there are 65 official cricket grounds in Nepal, but there's only 2 or 3 places where they can have an official ICC match. And I think those places are, I'm going to pronounce this wrong and I apologize to anyone who speaks Nepalese. You can correct me in the comments, but it's Tribhuvan University International Cricket Ground in Kirtipur and Upper Milpani Cricket Ground on the outskirts of Kathmandu. Let's talk about domestic cricket before we end here. Now, the thing about domestic cricket in Nepal and a lot of other countries is that there's like more than one official tournament, and this just racks my brain. The biggest or longest standing T20 tournament is called the Everest Premier League and takes place mostly in the month of December. So it's a 1-month long competition. But the competition was able to bring in some big names like Sikandar Raza, who played for the Biratnagar Warriors in 2021. Most teams have 3 official foreign players, with the rest of the players being from Nepal. So there are 6 teams total in this competition, and they play for a prize of around 5 million Nepalese rupees, which is about 40,000 American dollars overall. There's also the Dangadi and Pokhara Premier Leagues. I wasn't able to find much information on them. If you go to their official websites, it's not very helpful. Obviously, these competitions spread through word of mouth, and internet is not as big of a thing as it is here in the United States. So not much information was found on these leagues, but there is a newly found Nepal T20 league, which I think looks like it has official Indian investors for this league. So it has a lot of big money, and you could see that with the big money names that come with this tournament. I think there's about like 6 or 7 foreign players in this league, and you see a lot of the IPL team names like you do in the Caribbean Premier League and the South African 20 League that just started. So it looks like they're doing the same model. So hopefully this doesn't overtake the Everest Premier League, but it looks like it's getting a lot of money, and the official prize money is 5.5 Nepalese rupees. So it's obviously getting the same amount or more than the Everest Premier League. That's about all I have for cricket in Nepal. But if I do this video 10 to 20 years in the future, I'm sure I'll have a lot more to talk about. So what do you think? What do you know about cricket in Nepal? Are you from Nepal? Please leave a like or a comment rather, and let me know, let us know about it, because I'm really interested in this topic. Nepal will be in the 2024 T20 World Cup, so look for them there. And check out my channel for more history and news about countries and everything to do with cricket in America. I will see you in the next video.